Okay, so you got the banners going.
Yeah, I hopped on earlier to get them up.
All right. I can't never see on my end, dude. It show how many people are showing the people watching yet, or
I think my feed a little bit behind on that to count. Give me 1 sec.
all right.
Yeah, here they come.
Okay. Because all I got in my top left hand corner is the live with the time. That's it.
Yeah, here they come.
All right. All right. And let's do this. Hey, Panther fans. Welcome again to another edition of 4-Man Rush. I'm your main man, Kevin Avery, a.k.a. 4MR_Country Kev. Rocking with me tonight, as always. Got my left-hand man, JD, a.k.a. Panthers Den 4MR. And the ever-popular superstar of the group, Big Smooth, down in the ATL, blessing us with his presence. Appreciate it. So we're going to run a cover 3 to look tonight. Talk about the Panthers week 10? Yeah, week 10 victory, I believe, over the Denver Broncos. Excuse me, I'm sorry, week 12. My apologies. Yeah, week 12 victory over the Denver Broncos at Bank of America Stadium just yesterday. Carolina 23, Denver 10. Overall, was a solid performance on both sides of the ball. Nothing too flashy, but, effective, solid. It's like we're sticking to the identity that Steve Wilkes wants to establish, which is a strong physical running game and a dominating defense, and, of course, solid special teams. Overall, this was the first start of the year for Sam Darnold at quarterback, and he had a decent, clean game. Nothing to sneeze home about, but main thing was no turnovers by him. Was able to throw a touchdown to DJ Moore. Like I said, the running game was led by Dante Foreman, who had 113 yards. Chuba Hubbard threw in another 65. Overall, the Panthers just pretty much took the fight to the Broncos and, for the most part, kept their foot on their necks throughout the whole game. For me personally, it was just good to see a good solid game throughout. Personally, I was watching the game with our very own Will Harris, who flew into town. He's actually on his way to the airport now, heading back to Miami. So, Will, if you're listening, be safe heading back home, bro. We'll catch you later on. But just, overall, though, I'm going to flip it over here to Smooth to give his analysis and what he saw, what he liked, what he didn't like, and just basically speak his mind on the game.
What's going on, Panther Nation? It's been a while, but I'm in the building tonight. I'm going to start off by saying, do y'all remember a time when people used to fear Russell Wilson? I guess we got to thank Future for that, because ever since he said that, he was still smashing on Sierra, Russell ain't been the same. So kudos to Future for that down here in Atlanta. But I like the complete performance. Balanced offense, got it going in the air. Bearded Darnold seemed a little bit different with the offensive line in front of him. Don't you think so? But I wish we could have played like this all year, but it just shows you the difference. 3 years we gave Matt Rule a chance, and we never had an identity. The guys say, I want to be a heavy run team and play good defense, but you're using early round picks on receivers, not addressing the offensive line. I think having an identity is one of the most important things to be successful in the NFL. And Steve, like you said, Kev, Steve Wilkes has an identity. He knows what he wants to do. He doesn't stay away from it. He come out, play physical football, run the ball, control the clock. Don't turn the ball over and play some defense. Sound pretty simple to me. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with what I saw on Sunday. I mean, looking around the league, one thing you can say about Ron Rivera is he's always had an identity. I guess that's why Washington is in the hunt. You know what I'm saying? So I think when it comes down to what we're going to do in the future, as far as making a coaching selection, I don't care what it is. Just have an identity. I think that's the most important thing moving forward. We might win more games for the rest of the year because we have an identity now. It just makes a big difference. It makes you want to watch football. It makes you enjoy watching Panther football. I haven't been able to say that in 3 years, to be honest with you. But that's all I got to say so far.
I guess if I had to weigh in on the game, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I was at the game though. It was lit. The debate was hoppy yesterday. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was loud. You know what I'm saying? People investing in the game for a change. It was a bunch of orange out there, but it was still you still felt the crowd's presence. So I feel like a lot of people are thinking that this is a different team now. And obviously on the field you can tell the difference. I think our issue from then to now is spreading ourselves too thin in game planning. So like obviously certain defenses struggle with certain things, but your identity, like Smooth was talking about, gives you a little bit of direction and guidance on how to attack it. But yeah, we're just, it's the simple things for me, like lining up heavy, putting extra blockers out there and committing to the run. It's simple stuff like that that gives you an identity and gives you something to build off of. So, and obviously when your run game, your rushing attack is hitting and firing on all cylinders like it was yesterday, it makes it easier on your quarterback. It makes it easier on your offensive line. And it just really makes the game yours to lose as far as time of possession goes, all that good stuff. So I'm glad they finally figured out a identity, because now it makes the offense at least watchable. We had how many 65 plays yesterday? That's up there with season high, because we normally trend around 50 something because we lead the league in 3 and outs through week 11. So that was good to see. And I think at this point we might touch on it a little bit later. I think Wilkes is definitely getting a little bit more pull in this HC discussion that we're going to have in the offseason.
Yeah, I think so as well. Wilkes is definitely putting his fingerprints down on potentially making himself the right choice to lead this franchise on a longer term basis. I think I can agree. I think that we all can agree that we feel like that we're fans of Wilkes. Obviously, we just don't want to give it to him because we like him, but that he's actually has a beat on the team and also able to, be a leader of men, which was something that we had a lot of up under the Ron Rivera era, was a coach that was a leader of men. And by Wilkes being under the tree of Rivera, I think a lot of fans can, appreciate that. But, JD, you was bringing up something that made me look up the snap count here. You was talking about the different formation variations, using extra linemen and, run heavy packages. And the snap count, if you go to Panthers.com, which puts it out every week, you said 65 actually was one more. We ran 66 offensive plays. And, of course, the starting 5 linemen, Corbett, Christensen, Iquanu, Moten, and Bozeman got 66. But then when I see Tommy Trumbull got 49 snaps, Ian Thomas, 58 snaps, so that lets me know that we did a lot of 2 tight end sets, whether it was 12 personnel or whether it was 22 personnel. Then I'm also looking at Cam Irvin got 23 snaps. So that lets me know that we went heavy offensive line at least twice, at least 23 times during the game. And I even looked down and saw that third string tight end Stephen Sullivan had 15 snaps. And Cade Mays, who's a reserve offensive lineman, rookie offensive lineman, he even had 6 snaps. And I believe all of those were lined up at the fullback position. So, Big Smooth, me and you trench guys. This is straight up bully ball. This is straight up old school. We're gonna line up. We're gonna punch you in your fucking mouth over and over, and ain't a damn thing you could do about it. I think this is the type of identity that relates to not only what suits the type of players that we have, but I think it definitely coincides with our motto of keep pounding, when we basically ain't trying to hide what we're going to do. We're showing you the formation. Now see if you can stop it. But yeah, it's definitely the changes post rule era as far as like personnel usage, showing things like this. I definitely like, and then the results speak for themselves. 46 rushes for 185 yards, exactly 4 yards per carry. Foreman had 24 carries. Chuba Hubbard had 17. Sam Darnold, he had the 3 for 3 with the one touchdown. Probably the funniest touchdown you'll ever see from a quarterback. A fumble and a stop, drop, tuck, and roll into the end zone. That was quite entertaining to see. So with the total of 46 running plays and only 19 pass plays, this definitely says old school 1990s type of football to me. What you think, Smooth?
I'd have to agree 100%. I'm with the trenches, baby. So, yeah, that's what I want to see every week. And we did that against one of the better defensive fronts in the league. Denver's D-line is no slouch. So to abuse them like that and see their frustration on their sideline, I can't tell you how pleased I was. That's what I mean by identity, man. We finally have it. Even if the run game is not working, we stick with it. Those are things that, you got to have to win. And to get back to the Wilkes conversation, I will agree with y'all. He should be a candidate. But some of the things I would like to see is possibly a run. Show me that you can build off of a win and develop some momentum. You still got a positive record in the division. Let's fight for that a little bit. And that's something that I really need to see. Go on a run like how Ron did in 2012? Well, pretty much all his first 3 years, he went on some type of a run to show that guys still play hard for you, and you still trying to figure out what it means to win. That's something that I have to see to consider him to be the next head coach. And you also touched on the fact that that's Ron's coaching tree. I'm all for it. Look around the league. Ron's coaches do pretty well for themselves. So definitely should be in high consideration when it comes to selecting the next head coach. I just want to see him go on a run or something like that. Give me some momentum, show me some type of consistency, and then I'll be wide open for that conversation. But yeah, overall, man, this is the football that I like to see. Run hard, run the ball. It shouldn't really matter who you had on the center, but unfortunately it does because we had a guy out there that really ain't much of nothing when it comes to Baker Mayfield. But Bearded Darnold, hey man, maybe he could just take care of the ball till PJ get back and we get some more wins.
Yeah, Smooth. You brought up the 2012 season with Rivera. This is where we start seeing a turnaround with the Panthers winning 5 out of their last 6 games. So basically, back when it was a 16-game season in Week 12, we had a road win, something we have yet to do so far this season. So definitely hoping that starts as soon as we get off this bye week. But we had a road win at Philadelphia, 30-22, to get us to 3-8. Then we went out to Kansas City, lost a tough one, 27-21, to get us to 3-9. Then after that, we ran out four games high. Atlanta Falcons, 30-20. We went out to San Diego, won 31-7. Came back home to play the Raiders, 17-6. I don't know if y'all remember that game. That was a game that I thought Greg Hardy broke the back of Gannon because he completely blasted him. I was like, wow, And then we finished up strong with a shootout in New Orleans that we won 44-38 to get us to 7-9. So, if Wilkes can put this type of run together with the upcoming opponents after this bye week, we're at Seattle, and then we got our last 2 back-to-back home games: Pittsburgh Steelers, Detroit Lions. And then we finished the season at New Orleans and at Tampa. So yeah, I see no reason to think that we don't have a chance to, with the way that we're playing, and the fact that we're getting healthy at the right time too. While we can't go on a run similar as Big Smooth was saying, the way we did back in 2012 to build some momentum heading into the following season. As y'all know, that following season we were 12-4 and won the division title for the first time in 5 years. So hey, with so much parity in the NFL, anything's possible if you get the right coaches and the right personnel on your team. What you say about that, JD?
Yeah, man. It's frustrating because we could have been doing this from the jump. As far as like personnel groupings and game planning and stuff like that, playing smash mouth football. I'm glad we're finally getting to this point. But I do want y'all to get in on this comment by Bill. Salute to Bill, always coming through for us. He says, Smooth and Kev, give us a grade for our O-line play on Sunday. I guess Smooth first.
I'm gonna say a bravo. I'm gonna give it a B. Definitely dominant. It's easy for offensive linemen to start blocking when they run blocking. That gets them in the rhythm. But I did see it a couple of times that our backs would get to the second level, and then you leave it up to a back to make somebody miss. That's fine because we averaging 4.4 yards a carry. But I would like to see our interior offensive linemen be a little bit more effective on the second level. That's my biggest takeaway from that game. We can start getting to the second level and moving guys on that level. We'll start breaking a lot more runs and making it easier for Foreman to pop the big ones and for Chuba to pop the big ones. Because there were a couple of plays where it's like the running backs got to the second level completely clean, but they got to worry about making a safety or a linebacker miss. So if we can do anything better, just be more effective on the second level.
Kev, what say you?
All right. Well, yeah. Well, for me, I was just just for reference sake, I agree with the grade that Big Smooth gave us. Just for record sake, Pro Football Focus put out the grades for offensive line, and again, we've always been subjective. We use PFF as a tool, but we try not to make it the sole end all say all for it, because if you look at the grades that was given out, you'd have thought we struggled yesterday because, they gave, I'm reading it from left tackle over. They gave Iquanu a 53.3, one hurry allowed. They gave Brady Christensen a 46.3, two penalties. Bradley Bozeman had a 57.4, no pressures allowed. Austin Corbett, a 66.1, no pressures allowed. And they gave Taylor Moton a 73, no pressures allowed. So overall, no sacks, no quarterback hits, and one hurry is what they tallied. And then, like I just mentioned, over 160 yards rushing yesterday. So why those grades are like that, I guess we have to wait to for them to finish their game reports. JD, I know me and you be last couple times we've been on, we've been looking at the PFF premium stats to get a look at that. I hadn't took a peek at it yet just to see if they've done the grade report for ours, to see maybe that they had our run blocking grade low, because I did read an article where it said it seemed like Foreman had to do a lot of the work to get the yards that he got. So that could be it. But just using my eye tests, I just like the fact that, we're just pretty much we're setting the tone in the trenches, pretty much on both sides. I know a lot of people like to talk about the offensive line, but the defensive line, we'll definitely get to that side of the ball in just a moment. But answer your question though, Bill, I'm right there with Smooth. Give me a B+ for the offensive line yesterday. Anytime that a quarterback who sees ghosts with the history of Sam Darnold only got hurried once, no hits, no sacks, I take that all day. And this wasn't no slouch defense that Denver brought in either. So, even though they did trade away a couple weeks ago, Bradley Chubb, who played ball locally here at North Carolina State, they still had a formidable, defensive front. So I think overall our offensive line put a very solid job in.
I figured it would have been the run blocking grade as I'm looking at it. And that's just because, like what I touched on, just second level blocking. Like we weren't effective with the linebackers and the safeties. And that's the interior line at that, because that's just what I saw. Point of attack, yeah, we're good. Moving DTs and edges off the ball. When it come down to getting to that second level, we just weren't effective. We probably could have had 250 yards rushing yesterday if we could have got that done, just being honest.
Yeah, and I think that's something that offensive line coach James Campen will home in on. I'm pretty sure when they're watching the film, they'll notice that they left, like you said, probably what would you say, about another 100 yards out there, Smooth?
Yeah, because Foreman and Chuba could have broke a big one. He just couldn't make that one safety miss. But if you got a hat on that guy, you get at least a 20-yard carry. So a couple of plays I see where it could have just been really big runs, but we just couldn't get to that second level.
Right. So again, as good as the offensive line been played, there's definitely room for improvement, to get there. But considering what this time last year, we was considering this the weakest part of the team, to now, dare I say, the strength of the team, at least on the offensive side anyway. Because, several times, again, Bradley Bozeman, I just saw him, by himself, moving, the defensive tackle, whether he's at zero technique or one technique, just out the way himself. So, I would figure with, Brady Christensen's athletic ability, that getting to the second level would be, his strength, be his sweet spot. But, and I did see that one play where it looked like Corbett, was on skates, like Fletcher Cox had Trey Turner several seasons ago when it came down, because that was still one of the, funniest things I ever seen, happen on, just how quickly someone was being pushed back. But outside of that, and I think that may have been the one hurry, but outside of that, though, second level blocking is something we can continue to work on. But considering that we were struggling with line of scrimmage blocking, I'll take any progress that we can get moving forward.
I mean, it would just be, if I had anything to critique, if I had anything to be extra critical like I usually am, man, I'd just rather see Michael Jordan out there than Brady Christensen. But I digress.
Man, you're gonna get beat up like I be getting beat up when I be saying that, man. They say I'm a Jordan stan, man. It's
I believe, man. I need that nastiness, man. He fits the identity of which we playing football right now. So if I could be critical, I no problems with Christensen. He's been playing solid, but I just feel like that interior will be completely different with Michael Jordan out there.
Yeah, because according to PFF last year, they credit 6 sacks given up by Jordan with us last year. So I'm like, what you want a guy like that in there for? So,
Look, if we only passing the rock 19 times a game, you know what I'm saying? The extra ability to move a guy in the run game would be more beneficial than pass blocking for 19 snaps. That's just my opinion, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. If we're going to be this run committed, then getting to the second level is critical, because one thing I was telling Will while we was sitting outside at Jock and Jill's, that was a sports bar we was at over there off of Tavola. Shout out to them, because we were sitting outside. I was telling them, man, ain't nobody trying to tackle Big Foreman, big ass, late in the third and in the fourth. Those runs that were just 2 and 3 yards early, man, started getting longer and longer. And that's, if I'm not mistaken, Foreman run about what, 235, 240, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the size of Jay Stu. Jay Stu was like 5'10", 240, but just, tree trunk solid, especially in that lower body. And when you've been on the field, because I'm looking at the numbers below here. I think we had the ball for like 37 minutes. So we're done. 37 minutes and 3 seconds. So we definitely dominated the time of possession and definitely kept the defense fresh here as well.
One thing I like to add before we move on to the defense is because of our run game. Was anybody else amazed with that play action? Look good with that play action, bro. Bearded Darnold with that play action, man. And Ian Thomas opening the flat. That just show you how important establishing that run is, man. Makes the whole offense run smooth.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, was that play action and JD? Because I know you definitely have your eye on the skill players. When Donald hit Moore for that big 51-yard pass down the sideline, was that off a play action or was that just a straight up?
I think that might have been a straight shot. I think that was a shot play.
Shot? Okay.
Because what I noticed the whole game pretty much is that they had Surtain pressed up on Moore, and then in Sam's press conference, he was like, well, since they're going to press up on you, DJ, in this zone, or they played a lot of zone, and it's something. I think that play might have been cover 6 look to. But yeah, because he was pressed up, Sam was like, okay, we're just going to take a shot. It was just a simple 9. But yeah, the play action, though, you can definitely tell those linebackers are selling out, trying to get over into the gap. So it definitely opens up everything else. I think the boot action is going to look a lot better when you actually run the ball. Like, who could have guessed that running the ball actually affects how defenses react to play action? Shocker. Like, duh.
Shit, Sherlock.
But yeah, it was just a shot. They had already predetermined it. Shout out to Francisco Bartolo for the donation. He said, "How long will it take to make us? How long or what will it take to make us a playoff team?" If y'all want to touch on that real quick.
My opinion, Francisco. I mean, shit. With the way NFL could flip, we could be a playoff team next year. You know, if you take I know it's always hindsight 2020 and this, that, third, but we're literally like 3 bad calls away from having 3 more wins and could easily be the record could be reversed, you know, in my opinion. When you think about the 2 back-to-back bad calls against Cleveland in week 1, you know, could have been a win. A bullshit call up in New York, you know, that could have had us at 2-0. Definitely, you know, the bullshit ass celebration penalty against DJ Moore in Atlanta, you know, so that's 3 more wins. You know, that's 3 more wins right there. So that will have us at 7-3, 7-4. We ain't took our bye yet. Yeah. So, you know, the NFL is set up where, you know, you're just a few plays here or there from being having a winning record or a losing record. And I think that's just one thing that I love about this game is that, you know, as bad as your season is, you can actually, you know, if you make the right moves, you can actually turn it around and make a run and get a playoff push the following year. So I think if we address, obviously, quarterback, definitely got to resign some players like Frankie Louvu, Deontay Foreman, we got to resign. You know, handle the front office business. I think we can make a push in the playoffs come next year.
I think continuity is going to be important. You know, like you just said, keeping a lot of this core together. And when it comes down to the draft, you have to draft to what your identity is. So, you know, I know we need a quarterback, but you're on the clock and the best quarterback, which I believe is Bryce Young, is gone. You shouldn't be reaching for no developmental guy quarterback because you need a quarterback. Go ahead and get your boy Carter out of Georgia. Go ahead and keep adding to the trenches, the things that make us successful. Go ahead and keep adding to them. So just depends on what kind of draft we have. If we stick to our identity, I think we can be a playoff team next year because everything you touched on, Kev, is on point. You know, a lot of our losses are a couple bad decisions away. So it is what it is. But I think we can be a player. We should have been a playoff team a while ago with the quarter we have and some of the talent that we've had. It's just it's been all about upstairs stuff from the owner all the way down. So I see a playoff team next year. That's my honest opinion if you do everything right in the offseason.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I'm sorry, Jade, I didn't mean to cut y'all, but real quick, fan, let me give Big Smooth his credit. A lot of y'all probably don't know this. It's been said a few times, but just give y'all a reminder. For any of you that's Frankie Louvu fans, when we originally signed him, none of us in the 4-man rush hardly knew anything about it. But Big Smooth let us know through his connections through the league, and I just leave it at that. With the people with the Jets organization had made him had put him on the game, and he was telling us, "Yo, we got a steal, we got a dude," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I never heard of him, and I saw him make some splash plays last year, but Luvu, what I'm saying, is playing like. You can tell he playing, to get some long-term security and get a bag. And, I'm going to leave it up to Fitterer and Suleiman how they're going to work out the numbers. But he's definitely someone that we need to lock up. We cannot, let me repeat, we cannot in back-to-back seasons lose out on both a Hassan Reddick and a Frankie Louvu because we ain't have our checking account, balanced out. So, Big Smooth, appreciate you putting us on before Frankie Louvu even getting a snap, and now fans are seeing what you were saying that was going to happen 2 years ago. So just want to make sure that you got your props for that. Go ahead, JD.
Yeah. But I was one of the ones I was like, Louvu a camp body. This Smooth go come in and be like, I remember that day. Smooth come in like, no, he's a steal, bro. Boom, boom, boom. I'll go back and look at his Washington film. And saw some keys there. So yes, shout out to Smooth for putting this on, bro. I was gonna say to make us a playoff team though, I think a couple things have to happen. I'm not interested in bringing in another coach and losing our identity again. I'm just not interested. I feel like we have something to build on here. And I feel like, especially if we were to bring in an offensive-minded coach or somebody that's like more modern offensive mind, we're starting back from square one again. Probably going to reach for a quarterback. I think we're at the perfect point right now to where even if the quarterback that we want doesn't fall in our laps, we're going to be good. And not to say like we just going to rock with what we got, but I think a young quarterback will benefit more from the scheme that we are now, being heavy run and giving them something to lean on, putting them in favorable down and distances. That's better for a quarterback's development than starting all the way over from scratch and not maintaining that identity. So I think for us to be a playoff contender soon, Wilkes has to stay. Also, Campen has to stay. So that's step one.
And Tabor, the special team coach, he got to stay.
Tabor and Hecker both got to stay.
Right. Bring back the whole squad.
Yeah, I think that's as far as like core people go on that coaching staff, they absolutely must stay. There's no doubt in my mind if we start over, then we're back to square one. So
yeah, and I just did a search while you was talking. I went back and searched the 4-man rush chat. JD, you the one that broke the news that we had signed Louvu, and then we started asking, is he on the ball linebacker or off the ball, and this, that, and the third. And Smooth came out and said, I don't know how it's going to work, but he's going to make room in the linebacker room. I don't know who getting cut, but Frankie Louvu definitely making the team. So, it's just good to look back on these early conversations for for the team. But but definitely. So well, when we're talking about Louvu, so let's flip the field now. Let's talk about that defense. Again, we understand that Russell Wilson ain't been able to cook all year in Denver. He's gonna put off the great Negro heist in the Rocky Mountains because he has collected nearly got a contract for $250 million, if I'm not mistaken, for 5 years from the Denver Broncos, and only has 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions to show for it. So I get it. They came into the league only averaging 14 points a game. So I can definitely understand that people were not overly impressed with us holding them to 10 points. But hey, if you're playing a bad offensive team, you should remind folks why they're a bad offensive team. And I definitely feel like that our defense definitely did their thing after getting 6 or 7 chances to finally get that late fourth quarter touchdown. We would have held them to just a field goal. But it is what it is. I'll take giving up 10 points at home. Show the hell will. If I'm not mistaken, I think Monty posted in the last 3 games, the Panthers defense has only given up 12 points per game. So, our defense, shout out to not only Coach Wilkes, but the Panthers interim defense coordinator, Al Holcomb, for, getting this unit to, continue to play above and beyond. Even though dealing with some injuries in the secondary, we had to deal with Chin being out for a while, Dante Jackson gone for the year. We'd have had J.C. Horn miss a few games. Burris at safety. Hartsfield been out, so we've been having to plug and play guys, and for the most part, guys are stepping up. Yeah, they'll give up some plays here and there. It's the NFL. You're not going to play a perfect game where nobody's not going to make plays against you. It's basically limit your damage and to impose your will. But when I look at the numbers from the Panthers defensively, smooth. What else can we say about Brian Burns? I definitely want you to do the handle, because not only are you a FSU fan, Brian Burns is FSU alum. So if you want to give your take on the performance of the defense as a whole, or if you want to focus on defense line, however you want to do it, the floor is all yours, sir.
I'm very pleased with Brian Burns' recent performances. I don't want to get Panther Nation confused with my opinion, but I just thought he was giving his flowers too early. People were crowning him an elite player too early. I just wanted to be patient and watch his development. And this season, I feel like he's becoming a complete player. More than pleased. I'll also be accountable here. I wrote I wrote Derek Brown off. I think I was wrong. He's having a spectacular season. The front itself is doing a lot better than what people expected, given the personnel that we have. We can still get better at the other edge. We can still probably get better in the interior as far as depth. But for what we have and what we trotting out there with every Sunday, I'm more than pleased with the defensive front. I expect Brian Burns to make a Pro Bowl this year. I expect him to have double-digit sacks for the first time this year. So I'm ecstatic about that. The young guys that we drafted that are meant to be a part of this core, they're the ones that are honing in and taking over and becoming leaders on the defense. Can't be more than pleased with that. You know how I feel about Louisville already. My cousin was a scout for the Jets. Texted me when the transition happened. The transaction. I knew he was going to be great. I think it's important to re-sign him. And in the draft, if you can still get better at linebacker, you need to still try to get better. We still need a couple of pieces there. But all season long, except for maybe 1 or 2 games, man, the defense has been solid. We haven't been able to get things going on the offensive end. So, in my eyes, just using the eye test alone, this is a top 10 defense, in my humble opinion. I wish we were 100% healthy. I wish we had Jeremy Chin healthy most of the year. I wish we had Dante right now, but overall, this defense is spectacular. We didn't play a great offense this past Sunday, but we held our own against the Ravens the week before. So I really won't even entertain somebody that has so much negative to say about the defense, because they've been performing week in and week out. They can only do but so much. So, like I said, going into the offseason, when it comes to that draft, keep drafting to your identity. Keep drafting to your strengths. Try to make this unit even better than what it is. And when we talked about retaining Wilkes, Al Holcomb is the guy you got to keep in that staff too. Ron Rivera coaching tree. I don't think it's a coincidence, but these guys they got them coming out on Sunday playing football, man.
Definitely got to keep Al Holcomb. I just thought about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If this is the identity and the route we want to go, and Big Smooth, you brought up a good point about maintaining, the identity that we established by keeping Wilt. I think it would do. I mean, I don't know with the runner rule and everything in place. I don't know if Tepper has to interview another minority before officially giving the interim tag. I'm not quite sure the loopholes and nuances of it. Do we get the additional draft pick? Because anytime you take a minority coaching assistant and given a position upgrade of a coordinator or head coach, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I can research this and figure out, and shortly, I think you get like an extra third round pick. So it's it's a lot in play here with what goes on with the hire. We're just hearing nothing but good things, not only from the players, but it's been reported by the local media that's being leaked out from the front office about the impact that Wilts is having in spite of the record, in spite of the revolving door at quarterback. So I definitely like the fact that that those factors are being considered and that he's putting a stamp. And at the end of the day, it's all about winning. If we can win out, like I said, 5 of these games, if we can win out at least, I ain't gonna lie, the fan of me want to win them all, but if we can win at least 4, that'll at least get us to 8 wins. And if we can win out, we can actually have our first winning season since 2017 at 9-8. And again, I just don't see no fear in any of the teams left that we got to play, while we can't have a legit shot to beat them and get the win. So, I know a lot of people talk about tanking and all that bullshit. Fuck all that. Players want to win. That's how they make their contract. You don't get contract bonuses by tanking and taking plays off and all this other nonsense that, for whatever reason our fans are obsessed with. Fuck all that. We shout out to Tony Dungy when he said we played, not Tony Dungy, but Herm Edwards said you play to win the game, and that's what these players are doing. But just looking at the numbers, from the players, yesterday, I'm checking out the grades here that you got put up here, JD. Obviously Brian Burns, almost a 90, 89.6. Frankie Louvu, 74.8. Marquise Haynes, smooth, one of your favorites. That's been what he came in at 235, done bulked up some, and he's been one of the he re-signed a 3-year in the off season, and he was definitely making his impact felt. One of my personal favorites, Sam Franklin, that a lot of y'all on Twitter crucify me about. He's shown that even on not only just special teams, but on the field. Now, he did have the fuck up on the onside kick. It did hit him in the chest. Well, actually, he caught it, and 2 players hit him high at the same time, and he wasn't able to secure it. But, hey, stuff happens. But that's still my guy. He had a solid game. Derek Brown, I know the stats not going to say it, because when you look at the stats for Derek Brown, it just says, 1 tackle and 1 quarterback hit. But again, he was very disruptive in the blocking scheme and creating pressure in the pocket. So, I can say, man, this defense has an old school feeling to it from the days of Ron Rivera. I just think that we have a much better secondary now than we did during those days.
I'm gonna shout out my guy, TJ Carey, bro. Salute to TJ Carey. That was a surprise signing whenever we brought him onto the practice squad and elevated him. I knew we were having nickel issues, but TJ Carey is a playmaker, dude. So it was good to see him out there forcing a fumble and making plays on defense.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always good when unknown players, come in and start making impact, and fans be like, "Hey, who was that?" And then when I look at the defensive snap count as well, again, pretty good distribution. Outside of the regular starters, 60 plays on defense. Frankie Louvu and Shaq Thompson, Jeremy Chin played all 60 plays. J.C. Horn had 58 snaps. Brian Burns, 55 snaps. Derek Brown, 51 snaps. C.J. Henderson, much maligned. How did he do yesterday? I really didn't get a chance to focus too much on him because I'm usually watching the trenches. Did Smooth, JD, any one of y'all notice C.J. Henderson yesterday? Did he do all right? Did he do good? Was he still kind of off?
I thought he did all right. He wasn't a liability from what I could see.
Okay. All right. I didn't remember hearing him get called for any penalty or anything. And I wish Monty was here because, he was a big fan of Pat Surtain and, he's definitely been a DJ Moore boy. But is it safe to say that DJ Moore put Pat Surtain on a pat yesterday?
Oh God, yeah. That much is yeah. I was definitely watching 2-on-2 all the whole game. So yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Hey, so he packed them up, huh?
Yeah, and I just tweeted out off my account the other day. I said DJ ain't beat an elite corner all year, and then here he go. But yeah, he had a good game against one of the best in the league.
Hey, that's what's up.
He put the league on notice too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said he put the league on notice. I got guys as fans of other team like, yo, DJ Moore cooking Pat Surtain. What's going on?
Yeah, dog. It was like,
and he cooking them with Sam freaking Donald. I mean,
yeah. The funny thing about
imagine we get some real QB talent up in here.
The funny thing about it, he would have cooked them even worse if Sam ain't missed him the first half. Like he would have had a huge he missed DJ ran an over route and he missed time. He would have caught that and kept on running if he would have timed it right.
Yep.
And then he didn't throw. It was like a comeback or a hitch versus cover 3. And there was nobody around DJ except for Pat Surtain. So if he makes Pat miss, he gone. So he had an even bigger game. He only had 4 catches. That could have easily been 6 to 8 catches.
Yeah, dare I say a 200-yard day possibly?
Yeah. If he gets that hitch and run.
Right. And I'm looking at Smooth. You was talking about some of the younger players. Like I'm looking at our rookies. Amari Barno got 11 snaps. Brandon Smith got 10 snaps. Marqueen McCall, one of our camp favorites, he got 7 snaps. And Mr. Not Good Enough to Play in the NFL, he had 6 snaps, Davion Nixon. So I always like to bring it up. But now who's this other player on here? I see a guy named Kobe Jones had 11 snaps. Who is Kobe Jones? Because that's a new one for me. Either one of y'all know?
He's a DN. He got benched because he lost contain, but he was playing a lot in the first half. I remember seeing him. I was like, who's that out there? No, he's number 91. 91.
Okay, because he got 11 snaps, same as Barno. Like I said, I didn't know. I never heard of the guys, so I was just kind of curious.
He lost contain on the end around or caused a couple big runs for them, so they sat him down. But yeah, I noticed them out there.
Yeah, and Smooth, I know you was talking about the linebacker core, add a couple of pieces. I think that let's keep it real. We cannot keep Shaq Thompson next year in no $24 million cap hit. There's no way in the blue hell. So I don't know how that's going to work out, how that's going to play out. I just cannot see that working. I don't know if terminate his contract, get it on a friendly deal. But we Shaq Thompson is as solid in the leadership he's done is not worth no $24 million to our cap hit next year. So for all you fans that love saying, hey, restructure, push it down the line. This is what happens when you do that. Because as I'm looking at his contract, I'm showing, restructures that he's done, to create salary cap space. So things like that. I'm just not a big fan of restructuring unless, this is going to get us on a championship run. I'll mortgage a little bit down the road if this is, if we're going to be contending. But looking forward, I like our linebacker future with Frankie Louisville and Brandon Smith. If anything, with the flashes that we've seen from Brandon Smith, I think that Frankie Louisville is someone that he could potentially, play a similar style too. Explosive, fast, hard hitting. good instincts. That's just my personal thing. And I saw Barno Smooth. I don't know if you checked him out a couple of times. He extended out the right tackle for the Broncos and kept gap integrity for the linebackers to clean up yesterday. So, even though he's considered smallish for his size, I think Barno's maybe 240 himself. I think the young pups that we got, man, I think that that they got the chance to really have an impact.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. I like the young guys that we have in the linebacker room and that edge, but that position group is still the least invested in within the last couple of drafts. Like, I expect us to address that position early. Day one or latest day two, we should have to bring some real talent in this room and at least create some competition. But I agree with the guys in the comments. Everybody's asking about the linebacker position. Looking at Shaq Thompson, I love Shaq for his leadership. I love him for the intensity that he plays with. But at the end of the day, you bring up a good point. $24 million cap hit. Definitely got to get some guys in that room, man. Definitely.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, JD, you can confirm. I think we got, as of right now, we got 2 second-round picks and a third. So day 2, we could, I think that would be a good place to look to add to it. Depending on what we do with the first-round pick, I'm with Smooth. Hey, the win position, and he drops to us Jalen Carter. Hey, by all means, we cannot walk it up to that, because wouldn't you say, JD, that out of all the prospects, regardless of position, he's the best one in this draft, like hands down?
Jalen Carter is the top player in this draft.
Without a doubt.
There's no doubt in my mind. He's the most dominant college football player right now.
All right. Now, if you had to give him a pro comparison, and you and Smooth, can, say who his game and style remind you of, who? Because I know some people always like to throw out the GOAT, Aaron Donald. I don't see Aaron Donald in his game. I think I watched him like 3 Georgia games so far this year. But who's a DT in the league that he his game reminds you of? Either one of y'all can go first.
Go ahead, Smooth. I got you. He left. Let's see.
Oh, Smooth on? Okay.
No, I'm here.
Okay, there you go.
I'm going to say Grady Jarrett. The explosion, quickness off the ball, and he can take on a double team. Because the thing about Grady Jarrett is Grady Jarrett plays bigger than what he is. Grady's around 290, 300 pounds, but he plays like a 340-pounder. That's what I get from Jalen Carter. So that's who, especially because I see Grady Jarrett two times a year. That's my, snap my fingers. That's the name that jumps out at me.
Okay,
that's a great one. I've seen a lot of Fletcher Coxes floating around, but I would say Javon Hargrave. The other guy, yeah, who killed us the game I went to versus the Eagles. I think Jalen Carter, like Smooth said, he's a lot more powerful than his size. I think he's a better pass rusher than in comparison to a guy like Derek Brown when he came out. I think he's a little bit better. I think he's going to end up being that 3 tech. So he projects to be not necessarily the point of attack guy at nose. But I'm more than certain with his tenacity, his play strength, all that good stuff, pad level, he could easily swap back and forth. And I think that's what we need out of to pair with Derek Brown, because Derek Brown, a lot of snaps, people are like, oh, well, he's a nose tackle. But I've seen Derek Brown line up 3 tech and wider this season and absolutely wreck a guard's life. So we need guys that can kind of flip-flop, switch it out, whatever, and get that push on the inside. So, yeah, I see a Javon Hargrave kind of guy.
Yeah, I just want to see opposing interior lines, shitting in their pants when they looking at Derek Brown on one side and Jalen Carter on the other, because, the quickest way to disrupt the quarterback's passing game, especially with these, short, quick passing attacks a lot of them are going to, to negate the pass rush is that A gap, B gap pressure, and having guys like that can constantly disrupt that. As a trench guy, I would love to see that happen. But again, far beyond our control. Just speaking as a fan, speaking as a trench guy, but Burns, Brown, and Carter, man, yeah. Offensive lines are not going to sleep well playing us the night before if that was to ever become a reality. I can guarantee you that much.
And Smooth mentioned about investing in some linebackers. This linebacker class is a little weak, but there's definitely guys that fit what we do. Ideally, I think I would want a true Mike linebacker. There's not too many of those in this draft, honestly, that I see. A lot of them are like tweeners, kind of like your Frankie Louvu types, where he'll be the inside backer, but also he's going to come off the edge. So it's just a matter of scheme fit. But you got your Noah Sewells, you got your doggone, what's that man name? Oh my God, I had a list of them. It's some guys out there, bro. And I'm gonna be dropping some profiles on them since it's an area of weakness too for the defense.
Yeah, and I'm just taking a quick look. I know that our money is going to be tight, but I just figured I'd take a quick look at what kind of free agent linebackers are that's going to be coming available that might fit that mold. Believe it or not, if the Raiders keep him, Denzel Perriman, he's going to be available. Former Falcons middle linebacker Deion Jones, who's with Cleveland right now, he's going to be available. As far as, well, he ain't what he used to be. I see Quan Alexander, but I think he's more of a outside linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. So there's probably about a small handful of free agents. So you're right. As much as we need linebacker depth, I just think we're going to have to coach up what we got and just maybe add the best option available to us at that time. Because I'm really not seeing anybody that really pops out that I think that we can, with our cap situation, that we can afford. But it's a few free agent linebackers coming up that will fit that Mike linebacker role.
Here's a guy too. I just posted a comment because I can't pronounce his last name. Henry from Alabama. He's a decent linebacker. He's going to test well because he's a smaller guy, but I got to keep an eye out on him.
Yeah, Henry and that last Ototo, whatever. I caught it, brother T.O.
I could not tell you if I tried, bro.
I ain't look. My accent country anyway.
And just like linebackers, you can still get better at edge because say Carter's not there. Got a guy named Willie Anderson. I'll take in a heartbeat. Pair him up with Brian Burns. You're looking at a completely different defense.
Oh yeah.
Unlike the linebacker, edge is plentiful at the top. Like you, first round, second round, you can get a guy. Jarrett Verse, Felix. Isaiah F. out of Notre Dame. I forget his last name. There's a bunch of guys that kind of fit the profile we're looking for. Will Anderson is the best one. Drop off between pass rush and run defense is pretty much non-existent. So if your top quarterback is gone, I would be pretty much flipping the table for a Will Anderson or a Jalen Carter and change that defensive front into one of the most dominant defensive fronts in football.
Yeah. So when we look at the, I know we talked about D line and linebackers. So let's talk about the play of the secondary a little bit here. Yesterday, hey JD, do they have the matchups from yesterday already up?
Yeah, they're up. Let me pull them.
Okay.
see the coverage
matchups. Just showing who who covered who. So let's see. C.J. Henderson was targeted 5 times, gave up 4 catches for 15 yards. I can live with that. Who's the next DB? Okay, we're just talking about Frankie Louvu. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 21 yards. I can live with that. Let's take a look at Chin, see what he did. 4 targets, 2 catches, 24 yards. So like I say, Russell Wilson definitely did not have a great day pass. So a lot of these are going to look pretty much favorable. Not seeing a lot of big yardage given up. You like to see a few more, a couple more pass deflections. Definitely an interception or 2 won't hurt. But like I said, if they're not getting catching long passes on us and getting yak after it, then that's always a good win. Next up with J.C. Horns. Take a look at him. It look like they just stay away from J.C. because it seems like he has the fewest targets. 3 targets, 2 catches. But surprisingly gave up the most yards. 35 yards. Gave up a 19-yarder to Cortland Sutton. Man, if I post about Sam Franklin, they say that was spam, but I'm gonna let it ride. 3 targets, 1 reception, -3 yards. Shout out to Sam Franklin doing God's work. Keith Taylor in a limited role, 2 targets, 1 catch for 2 yards. Your boy JD, here he comes. Kerry, you say he had the forced fumble, right?
Yep, on the kickoff.
On the kickoff? Oh, okay. I thought it was.
Nah.
Yeah. So I'm not against us adding another cornerback. I know people probably sick of when we always drafting cornerbacks, but Smooth, you want to made me pay attention. Now I know how you said about linemen when it comes to lower leg injuries, but as far as defensive backs, skill position guys, how does their recovery from what you can notice or tell from those things such as like an Achilles on a DV versus an Achilles on a lineman? Is it about the same? Is there some differences? You think Dante Jackson can be back on the same level? Because I know he's definitely been your guy from day one as well.
He's 190 pounds soaking wet, man. If he stay focused and do what he got to do, I think he can come back. Technology's come a long way. An Achilles injury used to be something that nobody come back from, but you're seeing it every day in multiple sports where guys are just coming back from that injury. And he was already blazing fast. So what? If he doesn't run a 4.2 no more, what are you going to run? 4.4? It is what it is, But I think with the right dedication, he can come back 100%.
All right, well, that's definitely encouraging to hear. Because I think since 2018, since he came into league, no other cornerback has more interceptions than him. I think he got 14. So does he give up some plays? Yes. Does it frustrate us? Yes. But as many as he gives up, he also gets the ball back and definitely has came up huge on some runs on run support as well. So I know there's a lot of split division among Panther fans about Dante Jackson, but me, I'm a fan of his, and definitely wish him a speedy recovery, and definitely he hopes he comes back and plays at the high level that we're used to seeing him play at. JD, anything you want to add about the secondary yesterday?
Nah, I just want to say I'm pleased with the performance I saw. Granted, Russell Wilson is playing like dog water, and their top 2 receivers are wear out. But even still, I'm definitely pleased with the play of Sam Franklin. Hopefully, we'll start to see more of him on actual defense because he's just an enforcer. Like he's a run and hit guy. So, and definitely when he's not on the field, I feel a little bit less secure about our tackling and angles and all that good stuff. So hopefully we see more of him. Xavier Woods with a pass breakup down the field. J.C. Horn was all over the place like normal, but also I thought he did a decent job on Cortland Sutton. C.J. Henderson has pretty much stayed out the way, which is a good thing. But I'm proud of the guys. I don't know if I want to add another corner to this group simply because I want Keith Taylor and C.J. Henderson to continue to develop.
Okay.
I'm not totally certain. Like I want to take one of them off the field at this point. Like I know CJ's been getting on my nerves for a little while, but he's gonna have to take these lumps. Especially if Wilkes sticks around, I feel like a full offseason with Wilkes would go a long way.
Right.
And just to build on their relationship and hopefully he can start to take those next steps. So maybe if I had to add to anything to the room, it would be like another nickel or a vet in the room. I think that's what we're missing, a true vet, somebody that's played a lot of football and not necessarily is going to give you a bunch of snaps, but maybe is a special teams guy that kind of just knows the game, so to help teach or give a different perspective. I think that's what we're missing. But other than that, I'm ready to rock and roll with this group again next year.
All right, and something else that we mentioned, I like to give us a little bit of focus on as we get ready to wrap this up. We mentioned that we would like to retain special team coach Tabor. Well, just looking at it, our special teams played solid yesterday. Let's shout out the kicker Pinero for bouncing back since the missed kicks in Atlanta. I don't think he's missed any kicks since. He was 3 for 3 on field goals yesterday. As I'm scrolling through the stats here. Yep, he was 3 for 3. Made both extra points. Man, Helka, man, he had a 51-yard punting average on four punts yesterday. So let me see. Yep. Excuse me, on 5 punts. 4 inside the 20. So, we pinning the Broncos offense deep. His longest one was 59 yards. Let's see. Good coverage because with the longest kickoff return was 27 yards. But like I said, they only scored twice, so they only had 2 opportunities. And the punt return, they never did return. They fair caught it. So just overall, just another solid day special teams. We didn't give up any big plays, good coverage. Again, our special teams unit. Let's give a shout out to one of our personal favorites, who has now tied the record for most games played by a Panthers player, long snapper JJ Jansen. You know what I'm saying? JJ's been here since the beginning of the 2009 season. Only has 2 bad snaps since being here. I mean, you talk about, doing your job consistently. I was rather insulted when former coach Matt Rule drafted a damn long snapper, while me and Smooth's, dream guard Trey Smith was left out there. I don't think we can ever forgive him for that. Fuck you, Matt Rule, for that. But he I think 200 and I think I'm not mistaken 44 games that he's now held with us. So the next game that he plays, he would have the all-time record that used to be held by former Panther great kicker John Casey as far as most games played. So shout out to JJ Jansen. I said I was gonna get me a Jansen jersey, man, because the dude just been solid. Got to show special teams some love as well. That's a job he can do well into his 40s and take care of it. So definitely want to make mention of that. Well, that pretty much wraps up, discussion of the game. We got the bye week coming up. Hopefully, that anybody that's nursing injuries can get back healthy. Hopefully, even though it's been said, Wilt said that Sam Darnold is going to start at Seattle, but I definitely would like to see a healthy PJ Walker have something to say about that. Moving forward. You guys have any closing remarks, summary, or anything?
JJ Jansen, the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. I think just to touch on special teams for one time, Johnny Hecker punts the prettiest football I've ever seen in my life. Like me and KD, he on here. Coach KD was on here. Here you go. Salute to KD for coming to the game with me. I had some extra. My brother had some tickets that he had his job at Gabe, and my brother KD responded to us and was like, "Yeah, I'll go." So salute to him, and he part of the reason why my voice is gone now. But yeah, we was talking about how this man looked like he threw the ball in the air like a couple times on punts. It was just ridiculous. So salute to Hecker, salute to JJ Jansen, salute to Sam Franklin, salute to DJ Moore. You ain't gonna hear me say that a lot, but he actually like cooked that man on Sunday. So salute to him. And hopefully we can rest up and build on this win. Smooth guy. Smooth guy.
Okay. And we also want to make sure.
Smooth.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we get on here. Paging Shotgun Shug. Closing remarks.
Not Shotgun Shug.
No, it's a good win overall, man. Special teams. What do y'all feel about Zane Gonzalez?
Man, bring back the Zane. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Zane was killing it for us last year. Yeah, like I say, Tepper, get rid of that damn turf, man. Like you got too many players having foot and tendon issues, unexpectedly, playing on that damn turf, man. Like, all right, we get it. Your soccer team had a good first year, but bring back the grass, man. Too many players. You want to talk about winning, playing on grass. I think helps increase your chance of winning because it increases the chances of your players being able to stay healthy. So,
I think you're gonna have to have a competition at this point. And I know Eddie hurt my feelings for that Falcons game. We should have won 2 times, but it's like you just gonna have to show me. Like y'all both gonna have to go head up or whatever in the preseason, off season, and whoever kicks better wins straight up. So it's gonna be interesting when we get down there. I think Zane is better on kickoffs. I just started noticing that just by watching, so that might give him an edge, even without getting to the field goal part of it.
Right.
But yeah, they're just gonna have a kickoff.
All right, and we could wrap this up with a quick rapid fire because we want to make sure we let our fans know who's watching us here. We checking the questions here, JD. If you want to scroll through and pick out any questions or comments that we can address real quickly. Bill Spire says JJ always reminded me of stupid rule for drafting a lone snapper. Congrats, JJ, and bite us rule. Hey, I think we can all agree on that, right?
Facts.
Big facts. Let's see what else out there. I see one about Matt Corral. That's definitely been a source of contention. Correct says from YouTube, why Big Jordan says Corral out of that boot. Pimp walking. They can't stand that man. I'm glad that he's out of the boot. Typically, and we have to say typically, these Liz Frank foot injuries can take anywhere from 18 to 24 months before not only they properly heal, but properly rehab. And with Matt Corral, he already came into the league, kind of battling injuries in the first place. I'm sure he's ready to get back out here and compete. I'm sure it's going to be a wide open competition for the quarterback position. But definitely, don't want any setbacks trying to rush back either. I know it sucks, but your best ability is availability. So we'll see how that goes from there. Any of you guys got anything you want to say about Matt Corral?
He's just not a factor right now.
Okay.
I can't see him being a factor next year, especially if we're in a position to potentially draft a guy. If the Texans pass on Bryce Young because he's too small, Bryce is the guy.
Right.
It's just not looking favorable for him right now, and it's unfortunate that he was in the situation to where next year he's essentially a rookie all over again. Not only because he got hurt in the preseason, but he wasn't getting training camp snaps, so he's essentially a rookie going into year 2.
Still got to see what you have with him. It's a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, traded up for him.
We've been invested in this position. It's a 3rd round pick. You got to see what you got with the kid.
And I'm gonna tell you exactly what we got. Will Greer. We gonna get 1 start out that man, and then he a free agent.
All right, let's see here. Bill Spire says, just a thought about tight end play Sunday. Thomas had a really decent catching and blocking day. I agree. Stupid Trimble was non-existent. What a wasted draft pick. I don't know who keeps saying it in the chat, but they be saying Trimble is a fullback trying to be turned into a tight end.
Monty,
okay. I think the talent is there. I don't know what's going to take to make it switch because, again, he caught that, ran a beautiful route and caught that down pass when we played Tampa back at home when we won 21-3. So I'm not quite ready to give up on Trumbull yet, but I definitely think that we need to find him a role that features his strength more and definitely give opportunities because it's definitely a talent. But at the end of the day, we need results. So, heading into year 3 next year, even though it's 5 games left this year, he's definitely going to have to start taking granted of whatever opportunities that he get.
Speaking of playing somebody out of position, Francisco said Thompson's more of a Sam backer. I don't see him doing much, and he gets paid well. I think he is. I think he's I don't think he's an interior linebacker. I think he's a guy you want to use on the edge that can play some inside linebacker. He's an attacker. Like if you'll notice on film, he's just gonna fly down. He's just gonna pick a gap and go. And to take advantage of that, I would want him playing either Sam or Will. So potentially, if you draft a linebacker, you can end up playing in base. Like if you're in base three backers, base 4-3 or a 3-3 stack kind of look, you could potentially have Luvu, Shaq on the edges, and your Ricky in the middle. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and I definitely think that with Brandon Smith, add him in the mix.
Yeah.
I definitely think he could be a factor in, with some linebacker snaps as well. All right, I think everything else I'm looking at we pretty much covered already. But just want to make sure. Hi, your boy Katie Russell said, "Cook Sertain like some fried chitlins." Damn.
Yeah, it ain't cap. It's real life.
All right, fellas, I gotta head out, man. It was a pleasure getting on here with y'all again. I feel like I'm right back at home.
Back like we never left.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and wrap this up here because Smooth does have to dip. I was going to wrap this up anyway. Want to make sure we thank all you fans. Just let you fellas know, the fans definitely be hitting me up in the inbox asking when we're gonna get on. Just to let you guys know, all of us have been, through the blessings of the man upstairs, elevations in our jobs and our careers. So it's been making it hard and difficult for us to come on every week like we've been doing, that you guys are used to. But trust me when we tell you, we definitely are going to try to make sure we're on as often as we possibly can. We appreciate you guys supporting us on all the social media platforms. So I just want to say on behalf of everyone here at the Four Man Rush, Big Smooth, again, thank you, bro. JD, always coming through in the clutch. Will, Monty, Canardo, Norris, Vince, all the fellas, and Darren, with your big head self, still love you too, bro. Just want to thank all of you for being a part of the Four Man Rush. I want to thank you all for supporting us. We'll catch you guys online on our different social media platforms. Again, this is Kevin Avery, Country Kev. Y'all have a good evening. Stay safe on this bye week, and we'll catch you guys later on.